My daughter was rushed to the hospital after a traffic accident. Until apparently, she darted into the road suddenly, but I can't believe it. She's always been so cautious. She's unconscious now, and it's touch and go whether she'll make it. I've been praying to God for her safety, but my husband, her father, seems eerily calm, even discussing finances for after her potential passing. I'm growing increasingly suspicious of his attitude. Then, miraculously, she regains consciousness and reveals something shocking. She says, "You know, Daddy," this revelation later enrages the whole family. I'm Elma Brown, a 35-year-old office worker diligently tackling my daily tasks. My family consists of my husband, Tom, and their 8-year-old daughter, Anne. We're a family of 3 living in an apartment. I met Tom at a university club party. We happened to sit next to each other and struck up a conversation. Tom, a bit of a show-off but cheerful and humorous, had many friends, both men and women. I enjoyed talking with him a lot. We hit it off and started dating, continued our relationship after graduating, got married 9 years ago, and were blessed with our lovely daughter. We had a good marriage, rarely fought, and I thought we were living a happy, albeit ordinary life. Anne looks and acts just like me. Since she was a baby, both our families have remarked on the resemblance, and as she's grown, it's only become more pronounced. Our parents say she's like a young me come back. I used to think they were just being biased, but looking at old family albums, it's undeniable how much Anne and I looked alike as children. Even other moms joke that we're like identical twins. However, Anne is smarter than I was at her age. She was speaking fluently at 2 and was ahead in reading and writing. She's kind with natural leadership qualities, making her popular at school. I might be biased, but I find my intelligent and cheerful daughter adorable. The chin, on the other hand, Tom seems somewhat displeased with her. Once, half-jokingly, he said to me, "It's like having 2 Elmas around." She doesn't resemble me at all. Makes me wonder if she's really my kid. I don't find her cute. His words were shocking to me. And instead of being proud of having a bright child, he says she's not cute. What kind of logic is that? That it was a good thing Anne was asleep. She would be heartbroken to hear her father think this way. And his insinuation of infidelity was unacceptable. I retorted, "What? How can you say your own child isn't cute? That's terrible." And questioning if she's really yours. Don't you know what's okay to say and what's not? Realizing I was seriously angry, Tom hurriedly tried to explain himself. It was just a joke. A joke. Well, don't get so mad. I'm sorry, okay? I won't say it again. I promise. And Tom apologized. I decided to let it go for now. I guess I got a bit too worked up myself and felt a bit of regret about that. But I did wonder if I should have pressed him more on his comment. Both of us being working professionals, our lives are pretty hectic. However, we've been good at sharing household chores since we got married. Them both fret, but lately, Tom's been swapped. His company's not doing too well, and he's been buried in work trying to help turn things around. He's been doing tons of overtime and working on weekends. And to top it off, his salary and bonuses have been slashed. It's not unusual for him to be away on business overnight now, and he's hardly ever home. I think it's a bit much to push employees this hard, even in a downturn. I suggested maybe he should look for a new job, but he's loyal to his company. I know it's tough on you, and I feel bad about that, he said. But I can't just bail when my boss and colleagues, who've been through thick and thin with me, are working hard. The company's prospects are looking up, so just hang in there a little longer. I understand not wanting to leave a good boss and colleagues behind. When Tom pleaded so desperately, I just couldn't say no to him. Plus, with the decrease in income from my husband, I had to increase my overtime too. Well, I don't stay overnight for work like he does. I still end up coming home late. I like my job and manage to keep up with my pace, so that's not an issue. Aunts are so fatally, even with a babysitter. Leaving Anne at home without either parent there felt really sad to me. Sorry, and Mommy and Daddy are both really busy when we get a day off. We'll go out somewhere as a family. I would say almost as if I were making excuses, but Anne never blamed me. Mommy, I'm a strong girl. It's okay. You and Daddy are great for working so hard. She must be lonely, yet she tries to encourage me like that. She's just like me, always thinking of others and hiding her own struggles. I felt sorry for making her endure so much, so I decided to give her a gift. I bought Anne a smartphone. It may be a bit early for an 8-year-old to have one, but she's skilled with electronic devices. She can expertly use my computer and smartphone and do research on her own. She might have a talent in this area. I thought that having a smartphone would keep her from feeling lonely when we weren't around. As expected, she was overjoyed when I gave it to her. Did this cost a lot, Mommy? But I'm so happy. Thank you. Seeing her smile made me feel happy too. Until then, I had thought of our home as busy but happy. I never imagined such a terrible incident would happen. I was working overtime at the office that day. Listening about how busy I was, my phone rang. It was the hospital. Your daughter has been brought in as an emergency. Please come immediately. My mind went blank at the shocking news. Anne always carried a note in her bag with my phone number on it for emergencies, which is why the hospital could contact me right away. I explained the situation to my boss and immediately took a taxi to the hospital. Upon arrival, a nurse explained the situation in detail. She said that while a car was moving and suddenly ran into the street. I couldn't believe it. Anne is so cautious. Running into the street is out of character for her. Yet the nurse didn't seem to be lying. And according to her, Anne's movements looked like someone had pushed her. That there's a lot to think about, but my daughter's safety is my priority. I just hoped she would survive. Tiley, the doctor, after conducting examinations and treatments, said Anne had hit her head and was in a critical, unconscious state. For you, it was a 50-50 chance of survival, and there was a possibility she might not regain consciousness. Please be prepared for the worst, they said. Shocked, I collapsed on the spot. Why did my dear daughter have to suffer like this? Tom arrived at the hospital a little later. When I explained the situation, he looked down despondent. Could she have had some troubles? To jump into the road like that? I don't know. Tom, what should we do? If she doesn't wake up, first we should hope for Anne's recovery. But if she's unconscious, maybe we should prepare ourselves. His words, sounding like he was giving up, made me feel weak. Then I noticed something. Right before looking down, Tom's lips seemed to curl into a smirk. I convinced myself it was a trick of the eye, an illusion, and forcibly dismissed my own doubts. Later, both sets of grandparents, my brother and sister-in-law, also arrived, praying for Anne's safety. We all waited in the lounge and hallways, hoping for my daughter's consciousness to return. But even by the next day, Anne hadn't woken up. My family tried to lift my spirits, saying things like, "It'll be okay and you need to stay strong." I managed to pull myself together with their support. I couldn't give up while Anne was fighting for her life. Eventually, we decided it might be a long haul, so everyone agreed to go home and prepare some things. That left me alone in the hospital with Tom. Then, he said something unbelievable. Anne's probably not going to make it. No more child support then. I'm gonna be straight with you. Elma, let's get a divorce. He showed me divorce papers he'd already filled out. I was stunned by his sudden proposal. Why are you bringing this up now? Anne might still make it. And why divorce all of a sudden? You never showed any signs of this before. He replied that he'd been thinking about it for a while. Did he even realize how insensitive he was being under these circumstances? I can't see you as a woman anymore. Ilma, you're too strong-willed, not my type. I don't think we can continue as a couple. His words struck a chord with me. Is there someone else? You want to marry her but don't want to pay alimony or child support, so you're bringing up divorce now. No, I just can't be with you anymore. Tom denied it, but his evasive eyes made it clear he was lying. I wanted to confront him more, but it wasn't the right time. Anne's well-being was my priority. Let's talk about the divorce later. Right now, I only want to focus on Anne. You're just trying to escape. Don't think you can fool me? Just agree to it now. As he pressured me, our relatives returned and he quickly hid the papers in his bag. He apparently didn't want our family to hear about the divorce. I decided to ignore it for now, and Anne's safety was what mattered. Please, God, save Anne. On the third day, miraculously, then woke up. Our family cried tears of joy, but Tom was pale and trembling. He muttered no way. It was audible only to me. Why was he so shaken? The reason became clear through Anne's words later. As Anne opened her vacant eyes, I desperately asked her if she was okay. She looked at me and revealed something shocking. Actions, Mommy, Daddy pushed me into the road. The room froze at her revelation. Everyone turned to look at Tom, who could only tremble in response. His reaction confirmed the truth of her words. and then asked for her phone from her bag. Following her instructions, I checked a recording. Suddenly, Tom's cheerful voice filled the room. That date was fun. You are so cute. Billy, if only my annoying wife and daughter weren't around. I'd always want to be with you. The recording was clear evidence of his affair. Anne had heard him talking with his mistress at home and recorded it. Then she had asked him, "Does Daddy have someone else besides Mommy?" He had glared at her threateningly. "Don't you dare tell your mother. Elk, you'll regret it if you do." I glared at him. What's the meaning of this? Oh well, Anne, it's a crime to record people without permission. Permission, and Elma, you got her a phone. Ettin, isn't she too young? Don't spoil her. He tried desperately to change the subject. Of course, I wasn't fooled. Why? Don't try to dodge the issue. Tell me the truth. As I demanded answers, he started making excuses for his affair. No, it's not an affair. I was just talking on the phone with a junior colleague at work. That doesn't matter right now. I'm asking if you pushed her or not. I would never do such a thing. Tom mumbled incoherently, clearly acting suspiciously. But the relatives, too, seemed to sense something was off about him, looking at him with disdain. My father-in-law and father were especially furious, with my father-in-law even throwing a punch at Tom, shouting, "You good for nothing." The others also criticized him, saying things like, "How could you do this to your own daughter?" And then to top it off, an affair. Holding his bruised face. Peter say 20 cause existences are, and make excuses for his affair. I wanted to marry Mally. She's 10 years younger than me and so vibrant. Being with her costs a lot. It turned out Mally was young and beautiful, but had a serious spending habit. Tom had lied about his company doing poorly, and he had been splurging on her. I pressed him further. So you hid your affair because you didn't want to pay alimony during the divorce, right? It's Anne's fault for noticing. If she'd just kept quiet instead of recording. But to target your daughter's life. Are you insane? While Tom admitted to the affair, he stubbornly denied trying to harm Anne imperceptibly Thauris. She's lying. I would never push my own daughter into traffic. I'm not that much of a devil. And who's going to believe a story from an 8-year-old kid anyway? In the face of his evasion, such a cowardly man. My fists trembled with rage. Assimilation, Depe's going to be like that. I'll fight back with everything I've got. I stood my ground in front of him. I checked the location of Anne's accident. It's a busy street. Nowadays, there are surveillance cameras everywhere for security. And more cars have dash cams. Tom looked confused at my sudden declaration. I continued without pause. First, the police must be checking the surveillance footage. If that doesn't reveal anything, I'll reach out on social media to drivers who were in the area. We'll see if your actions were captured on any dash cams. Tom's face went pale. I stop you. Or maybe I'll ask every store on that main street. Show them your picture and ask, have you seen this man? We'll find out the truth soon enough. As I spoke, Tom, panicking, begged me to stop. He then broke down, crying and started explaining everything. Molly threatened to expose our affair to the company if I didn't marry her. I thought if Finn was gone, the affair wouldn't be revealed and I wouldn't have to pay alimony or child support. That's what I thought. His desperate plea was met with my cold gaze. Such selfish self-preservation had put Anne's life in danger. I'll break up with Millie and work hard for Anne from now on. Just please don't report me to the police. That was the last straw. Wait, you think I'm going to forgive you? You caused an accident to your own daughter for your mistress. How dare you ask me not to divorce you or call the police? But I'm going to report you to the police. Retributions, or getting a divorce, and I'll make sure to get alimony and child support. You're the worst, both as a human being and as a father. Don't you dare come near me and ever again. Tom was sobbing, drooling, and tears spilling on the floor, a pathetic sight. But no one offered him a hand. Later, he was arrested, found guilty, and sent to prison. I signed the papers he had brought and claimed alimony from him and Mally. Of course, I also demanded child support from Tom. My in-laws agreed to pay Tom's share, promising to make him repay them once he got out of prison. But even after he's released, a harsh future awaits him. Millie, exposed at her company, had to resign and was disowned by her parents. She's now struggling, living in a cheap apartment and working multiple part-time jobs. As for me, I'm living peacefully at my parents' house with Anne, who's recovering well. Now with the help of my parents at their home. I'm raising Anne. I'm focusing on raising my smart daughter, gently supporting her as she grows. Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. If you resonated with the content, please leave a positive rating and a comment.